Hello and welcome to Theatre.Reviews with Paul Seven. I'm here at the National Theatre to see Underdog, the Other Bronte. Are you a fan of the Bronte sisters' novels? Well, perhaps you've even got a favourite. Well, it might be better if you know nothing about them and their work and simply watch Sarah Gordon's play Underdog as a portrayal of the competition and mutual support that often coexist among sisters, along with some glimpses of the challenges of being a female novelist in early Victorian times. Because if you do know a bit about the Brontes, you may be annoyed at the liberties taken by this interpretation of their relationship. Or, as I did, you might find it a lot of fun. It certainly gains from having the mightily talented Gemma Whelan in it. Keep watching and I'll tell you more about Underdog, the Other Bronte. But first, please, like, comment and subscribe to this channel. Where to start? Well, let's start with Gemma Whelan. It's only right, since she begins the play by entering through the auditorium, and she's wearing a bright red dress, not what we expect from one of the grim Bronte sisters. She begins chatting to audience members about the Bronte novels. Well, she plays Charlotte, and she believes Jane Eyre is superior to her sister's works. She goes up on stage and explains that we're going to hear her story. As promised, Gemma Whelan and her character dominate the whole evening. She's cocky and nervous, knowing and uncertain, likeable and unpleasant, and very funny. Supported by Natalie Ibu's sharp and speedy direction, she holds us and her sisters in her grip throughout. At this point, let me tell you about the set. Now, no, we don't pay for our ticket to see the set, but Grace Smart's is pretty impressive. At the beginning, there's a thick carpet of moorland gorse and heather, and almost as soon as Charlotte has mounted the stage, that flies upwards until all we can see is a mass of brown roots underneath. What's revealed are three black walls that, combined with the ceiling, represent wonderfully the claustrophobia and earthiness we so often associate with the supposedly bleak isolation of the Bronte sisters. One nice touch is the use of a revolve to indicate more frantic activity. Or at the start of Act 2, the long, slow coach journey to London, complete with theatrical coconut shells clip-clopping. Oh, and it has one more surprise at the end, when the back opens up to indicate that Charlotte and the other Brontes are nowadays known to the whole world. The other Bronte of the title is not the middle sister Emily, who wrote Wuthering Heights. Emily's character isn't explored so deeply as the other two, but then she was the most keen to preserve her anonymity, and she died young, so less is known about her. That doesn't stop Adele James making a good fist of playing a middle sister who challenges the older one and defends the younger. It's the youngest sister, Anne, who wrote the less well-known Agnes Grey and The Tenant of Wildfell Hall. Anne is played by Rhiannon Clements, with an excellent combination of inner strength and outer submissiveness. The play suggests Charlotte was jealous of her talent, that Charlotte stole the premise of Agnes Grey for her own novel Jane Eyre, and that Anne let her eldest sister walk all over her. Charlotte wavers between undermining her youngest sister and giving her love and support. In fact, this is the greatest joy of Underdog, the way many sisters close in age are both competitive and supportive. The subject's become almost a theme at the National lately, with The Great Till the Stars Come Down and The House of Bernarda Alba and Dancing at Lunacy, all featuring sisterly rivalry and solidarity. There's a scene where Charlotte, confident of her work but not of her looks, is welcomed into London's literary grandees club, shown as a kind of disco, just one of many amusing anachronisms. Now, she's on a high because her talent's been recognised, and she shrugs off Anne's concerns. But when she's insulted for her lack of femininity, she turns desperately to her sisters for reassurance. And by the way, the sisters' coarseness, which at the time was how many perceived their writing and therefore them, is given substance in the play by their use of modern expressions and a huge amount of swearing, all to great comic effect. Here's some of the historical background. Back in the first half of the 19th century, women novelists were expected to write romances set in polite society, like Jane Austen. It was unacceptable to many critics that novels that involve class discrimination, male violence, substance abuse and more, as the Brontes did, be written by women. Therefore, all three sisters submitted their first novels to publishers under male pseudonyms, something Charlotte and Anne were keen to give up, but which Emily clung to. Charlotte outlived her younger sisters, and after their deaths, she did stop a reprint of Anne's The Tenant of Wildfell Hall, despite its success. And she did write a preface to a new edition of Wuthering Heights in which she sort of apologised for her sister Emily's rawness. She also seems to have been the most determined among the three to gain respect in literary society, although Anne certainly wanted her radical ideas heard. Sarah Gordon uses these facts to support a thesis that Charlotte was ambitious and competitive, while the other two were not. That Charlotte pushed her own work at the expense of the other two. I don't have a problem with Sarah Gordon imagining that Charlotte sabotaged Anne's work. That's the humour of the play. The only problem I found was that the whole concept is undermined by the widely held view, including mine, that neither of Anne's novels reach the heights of Jane Eyre. The reality may be different, but let's not let the facts get in the way of a good story. And it is a good story, full of comedy and a little pathos and some interesting ideas. The many other parts are played by a small group of men, including Nick Blakeley, among others, plays a snooty Elizabeth Gaskell. Julian Moore-Cook plays the slimy publisher George Smith. And James Phoon is the Bronte's troubled alcoholic brother Branwell. So it's mainly the story of three sisters and 19th century attitudes to women. But there is an undertow that questions how what we know or think we know about artists influences our appreciation of their art. Now, I know this makes Underdog sound very po-faced and profound, and truth be told, apart from the boisterous relationship of the sisters, everything else is touched on rather lightly, and the main emphasis is on fun, which it is. I give Underdog, the Other Bronte, 3 stars. I hope you found this review useful. If you did, please like, comment and subscribe to this channel, and then you'll be the first to hear about my future reviews. You can read my reviews and my roundups of other critics' reviews on the website Theatre.Reviews. And you can follow me on the usual social media. Thank you for watching.